Bruno Fernandes out for at least a month. The guy who is never injured. The cyborg, the RoboCop of the team. He's never out. Probably a bad analogy because there was a time where RoboCop was mash up. But you get my drift. He's never, ever injured. And when your luck's out, your luck's out. Do you know what I mean? Loads of players missing through AFCON/injury. And then your talisman, your chief creator. Now, there's going to be people that are going to say, not really that bothered, mate. Leacher can come in. Tell you what, Bruno gives the ball away anyway. He's the problem anyway. So, you know what? This is life without Bruno, not that bothered. That's fine. I see it as the person who is responsible for our most goals and most assists, while there is no Ahmad and no Mbumo. That is probably a little bit of a problem. But it's about solutions. We have to find solutions. But it's just a sickener, an absolute sickener. What does this mean for Man United? Some people were losing their shit after yesterday, saying that, you know, maybe that the Champions League fight is over. We're going to lose too much ground. We're too wounded. We got too many players out to be able to cope with this. The manager's already said, we're not doing short-term fixes. We're not doing short-term fixes to just step back and say, oh, my God, here we go again because we've made mistakes chasing after something in January. That isn't the plan. How are you guys feeling? Me, personally, I think this is a period where we'll lose some ground on the top 5, but it's not going to be the end of the world. We can make it up. That's how I feel. Let me know what you guys are saying in the chat and in the comments. Welcome to United View. Good morning, top of the morning to every single one of you. Happy Monday. Happy Christmas week. Yeah, happy Christmas week if you celebrate Christmas. Big up to yourselves. Happy Christmas week. And I hope this is a beginning of a blessed week.
I was laughing during that intro, Flex.
It's still going. I've just put these back on. I have no idea where it's playing from. Is this my player ratings? What is this?
I click start and the intro is playing, and even I heard in Flex's headphones. He's got some one of his tabs or something's open where he's
haven't, Owen. This is mad what's happening. Owen, I promise you, I've got no tab open. I need you to witness what's happening to me.
There must be, if you're hearing it, there is something open. There is something open. And he started hearing like himself talk, and he's going, I could see in the little box, it wasn't the intro's playing, he's going,
oh my, this is crazy. This is crazy.
Technology at its finest. Oh,
and now I can play another video where I thought it was out of my OBS recording. It's playing. It's not.
It is funny. It is funny.
I'm gonna have to refresh. This is mashed on my head.
Like, go to like your whatever browser you're on, click it and say quit that, and then quit that, and then start it again. And then
Owen, all that's open is X. It ain't that. This. It ain't this.
Well, I got an interesting one on the bits at the top. Yeah, you know when it says like profiles tab window on your window bit. Yeah, does it say like you've got other things open that you can't see?
On what? So I can't hear you because there's another video of me playing in my ears. So what did you just say to me? No, that's me. That's me. No, that green thing is me now.
No, not that. I mean, there's a bit that says window. Yeah,
where
on like the left, on the left, where it says history favorites window. Is there something open there that's not?
It says StreamYard Studio, which is what I'm in.
So what?
Honestly, the thing's glitching out. It's just not me. This is not me.
QuickTime open or something like that. Are you listening to it or?
No, because I've gone to my QuickTime and I can open it and play a video now. This has never happened to me before.
All right. Well, switch it on and off. God. Switch it on and refresh.
I've actually got to refresh. Let me
refresh. I mean, the guarantee is, it's not some kind of crazy bug. You know, it's technology. And you know what? For a while, people used to say that I made it up. Yeah, and he just exaggerates things. This thing isn't real. I'm telling you, he's a granddad of technology. Yeah, he's like your dad at Christmas, where you go, okay, there you go, Dad, I got you this. What's that? It's called an iPhone. What? You can play your songs and you can make phone calls on that. Excuse me. What are you talking about there? Does it need batteries? No, you can you charge it yourself. You charge it. You just put it in wireless charging as well. Sorry. Yes, he certainly needs these things explaining. Yes, he does. And technology, You know, Fleck, when it comes to technology, doesn't know how it works. But I tell you what, I do know how it works. Yeah, is your health. Wasn't the best segue, Optimum, and that maybe Flex will be back by the time this happens.
Today's video is sponsored by our friends at Oxford Natural and their all-new natural supplement, Optimum Day and Night. Thousands across the UK, USA, and beyond are smashing their health goals with Oxford Natural. Optimum Day gives you steady energy, curbs your cravings, and keeps your metabolism firing all day. Optimum Night helps you relax, get restorative sleep, recover, and keep burning fat while you rest. It's not a magic pill, but it will help you reach your health goals. Check out some of the incredible results. Two of our own, OWEN, lost over 100 pounds in 10 months, and KG dropped 30 pounds in 4 months. In 8 months, football legend Michael Owen lost 35 pounds, and Robbie from AFTV, Don Robbie, lost over 80 pounds. And in 6 months, Anita, an award-winning immigration lawyer, lost 44 pounds, and Linda, a law firm executive, lost over 50 pounds. No gimmicks, no needles, just results. Oxford Natural, let's get to work.
Yes, you can scan the QR code right there and you can save up to 70% off your first order. You can get your Optimum Day. Imagine Flex is here. You can get your, which is good for your weight loss goals. You can get your Optimum Nights, which is good for your restorative sleep. It's a brand new and improved formula. You can get them any which way you please, individually or combined. Stack them any way you like. As always, all the information is in the video description below. The link's pinned in the chat, and you can get Optimized today, just in time for Christmas, or maybe just in time for the new year. Well, whilst Flex is still going through the throes of Flecknology on a Monday, I tell you, the fact that he hasn't returned yet, he's going through it. What has he done? That's the real question. Yeah, what has he done? Well, whilst he is sorting it all out, yeah. We'll continue on with this show because we have so much to talk about this morning. We are going to be talking about Bruno Fernandes, obviously a big injury blow for him. The Manchester United captain grows a long list of absences for a variety of reasons, that being AFCON, injury, suspension, etc. We're also going to be talking about Joshua Zirkzee and that he might be getting closer and closer to a transfer to Roma, with personal terms being close between himself and the Italian club. But that could mean some positive developments when it comes to Antoine Semenyo, because according to David Ornstein himself, yes, it's early and it's, you know, kind of illegal unless you can prove your age nowadays in the UK. But we're logging on to Ornhub for Christmas, and we're going to be talking about Antoine Semenyo because he's choosing between Manchester United and Manchester City. They're in pole position to sign the winger from Bournemouth. So if you haven't already, click the like button and be sure to subscribe. Before we get into those news, quick couple of super chats here from Amanor, Marcel's lawyer. Good grief. Says, our manager has lied about Mainu injury. Free Kobe Mainu. Well, look, everyone's going to have their own opinion on that. I'm of the mindset of it's true, it's legitimate. Because I do just think that if Kobe was dropped, I think they would just say that, and I don't think they would go through the whole rigmarole of saying that it's nothing to do with him, it's not his fault, he's not his brother's keeper, and it's his brother, it wasn't Kobe that did it, and this, that, and the other. And then have a whole situation whereby he's dropped, but they say it's an injury. I don't think they would do that. So I'm of the mindset that there is no conspiracy there, even though there are some people that are steadfast in their belief that it's all a complete work. I saw Stephen Howson on Twitter. He was going in saying he doesn't believe it at all. So it's all a fabrication. And this is this is actually them learning from last year of saying when they said Garnacho and Rashford were out the team, and they've learned that they can't just be honest. They've got to lie to protect value. But I think he's just injured, and I think actually he'll come back in the team. We'll talk about that in a bit. And Terence also says, not angry with yesterday's loss because can't say we played bad, but there must be some curse on us not converting so many chances. Time for signings in January. Fleck, you back? Are you sorted?
Resolved? Just rebooted. It has resolved. Maybe it's just needed a refresh this, refresh that, download the new thing of this, download the new thing of that. Doing it's all computer stuff where you spend loads of money and thousands of pounds and press on and expect it to work, and the computer people are like, "Oh, these computers are so good. Must be you."
Well, but you
sometimes you can just
don't turn off your computer, do you?
What do you mean?
Well, when you finish for the day, you don't turn off your computer, do you?
No, I put it to sleep.
That's your problem, mate.
All right, but then when I turn it off, it makes me have to log into everything again.
Oh, you shouldn't just leave it on forever. You've got to turn it off, and then when you turn back on, it will allow things to update and refresh, and you close all the browsers down and this, that, and the other.
Well, then don't give me a tab that says sleep. Don't give me that then.
Well, because that's meant for if you're walking away from the computer for a couple of hours or 30 minutes or something like that, and you can come back. You know, you got to turn it off at the end of the day. You know,
shut down.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll tell you what was also shut down is Bruno Fernandes' hamstring or whatever it is. So obviously we saw him go off yesterday, went off at halftime. The Telegraph were first to report after the game that Bruno Fernandes could be missing for at least a month after sustaining a suspected soft tissue injury. We forced him off at halftime in Manchester United's defeat at Villa Park. Ruben Amorim was asked after the game about it. He says, I don't know. I think he's going to lose some games, but I don't know for sure. You can't control these things. I don't want to talk too much about the meta, but this is the guy who is always fit and has always shown he can always recover. Of course, Kobbie Mainoo is also out with an injury too. As we just said, he's got a calf injury. It's expected he's going to miss around a week. So there is this feeling that Bruno, Kobbie, both not going to be available for the game on Boxing Day against Newcastle. Kobbie could be back for the home game against Wolves, though, on the 30th. And it means we've got this long list of people that are not available, Flex. We've got Casemiro, who was suspended. He's going to be back, though, for the game against Newcastle. That was just a one game, wasn't it? I think it was it 5 yellow cards? I think it was.
Yeah.
Kobbie, injured with that calf injury, could be out for a week. Bruno could be out for a month. Maguire, who knows? You know, it feels pretty indefinite with him at the moment, doesn't it?
He's been injured for ages.
And then even when he was fit, he was coming off because he still had the knock the whole time. Matthijs de Ligt was one that came out of nowhere. It's a minor injury. Don't worry, it's not going to be that much of a thing. I think it was a back injury, and now he's missed several weeks from it. We don't know when he's going to be back. And then, of course, you've got the names that are AFCON in Mazraoui, Ahmad, and Brian and Mbumo as well. So we've got a lengthy list of people unavailable. Despite that, we still put in a pretty resolute performance yesterday and should have got something out of the game against Aston Villa. But as you said, Flex, this is the period where you do feel like maybe this is going to, catch up with us. Maybe we're going to drop points and win to uncharted territory with Bruno Fernandes not having him for a whole month. I mean, we've had games here and there when he's not been available for suspension or something like that, but never a long period of time with him being injured. So how do you think we adapt? Is it a case of the Leacher experiment continues against Newcastle and then maybe Kobbie comes back in at the end of that? Or maybe
is Casemiro back next game?
I think so. I think Casemiro is back.
So you drop Ugarte and you got to go you got to go Leacher and Casemiro.
He did all right in there. He did all right.
Yeah, he did fine. There's no way we can't do that. I don't see any other option, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I don't think you start Jack Fletcher or anything like that.
No, you wouldn't do that. You'd start Leacher in there. Again, him doing 90 minutes. He has been fit for a while now and playing half games. And yesterday was the longest he's played. He's played a whole half. You're going to try to say to him, play as long as you can. And then you're probably going to have to bring in Ugarte when he starts getting tired. Or hopefully maybe we're in a good position. Or even if we're not, hopefully you just trust maybe Jack Fletcher to come on maybe for the last 15.
Did you see that Ugarte stat yesterday?
I didn't bother looking at any stats because I just done the eye test yesterday.
It was before the game. This was before the game. So they were zooming in.
How many losses we got with him?
So he started prior to yesterday. He'd started 6 games in the Prem, lost all 6. It's now 7 out of 7. So every time Ugarte starts, we lose.
Oh, we lose. I mean, you got to keep the same energy because when you go, well, when Casemiro plays, I tell you what, we're better because statistically we've won this amount of games with Casemiro. The stat is the stat. The stat, maybe there's something in it. No agenda, but maybe there's something in it that every single game we've played with him, we've lost. But like someone just said there, Ugarte scapegoat, sadly, says silent event. I don't like the witch hunt thing. Like I've said what I said. I know he's extremely limited. I know what he can't do. He's not very good. But like it is bad because like when he does play, it's like everything's just labeled at him because he's just rubbish. But it's one of those ones. I just don't like it. But it's the truth.
There's no room for nuances there, Flex, because obviously we don't lose yesterday because Ugarte's on the pitch. You know what I mean? It's not all Ugarte's fault. But at the same time, he was and is pretty crap. So he can't. I remember before the game, people in the chat were going, this Ugarte thing about the passing, it's overblown. And then you watch him, you go, it's not overblown at all. He genuinely can barely pass the ball. And then he does a couple of okay passes and he gets carried away with himself and thinks, I can pass now. And you go, mate, you can't. You tried that switch. It was horrific, absolutely horrific.
And then you see Bruno's one. Remember when Bruno switched it straight to his foot?
Yeah,
like,
yeah. And Bruno was doing it with one leg at one point as well.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So yeah, the midfield. I think you're right. It probably looks like Cass and Leacher. The only thing you worry about Leacher in that position is just, your midfield. You're going to test out that knee if you're playing in midfield for a long period of time, shifting directions, you know what I mean? It's not the game's sometimes not always in front of you like it is when you're a defender, right? Sometimes it can be all action.
A bit more running, yeah.
Depends how we play though. Really well. Yeah,
I think we can. There's demands of it where you go, oh, flipping hell, coming in for so long, playing against Tonali, who's at it, Lewis Miley, Bruno G. Like, what their midfield is on. You know it, whoever plays in there. Joe Linton. He's been injured recently, but again, he's another one. But then you build it up. You kind of think that against Villa, and sometimes the game just don't go that way. Like, we don't have to make it as transitional. We don't have to make it as open. You say to your wing backs, you got Casemiro and Martinez in there. Look how compact we just was. Look what we just did at Villa. We were actually very compact. Gary Neville was talking about it loads in comms, saying essentially what's happened is like Bruno's going to join in Mount and Cunha, and there's like a 3 in there. With Ugarte kind of sitting back on his ones, really. And it's just, and then we're all sort of being very compact instead of really wide and condensing that mid layer of the pitch so there's bodies to help with that. That's probably the right way to be, especially against Newcastle United as well. You can't really go 1v1 and go after them. And there's little moments where it arises where there's a passage of play where you go, tell you what, he's going down a bit of a cul-de-sac here. Let's all jump. Then he'll probably kick it out of play. But as a rule of thumb, in terms of go for them, all at it, press. We can't do that. We can't do that. So I don't. Yeah, what Leach will give you on the ball is a calmness, is an assurity. I get that. Physically, Newcastle are a very big team. You're talking Shah, Tiao, Dan Burn. Who else is big? Obviously, Voltemada's massive.
Oh, Dan Burn's injured, isn't he? He's had the
Dan Burn injured
lung. Yeah.
Oh, he got punctured lung, did he? I didn't know that.
Yeah. He against Sunderland, he got crack ribs or whatever. And
oh shit.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
But So they're a big team. Do you know what I mean? Even young Lewis Miley is tall. He's a big kid, man. He's big. So and they could put it about a bit. So yeah, I think. But that's all we could do. But Bruno being out for a month, I don't care. Like we'll see how it goes. But my instant feeling is we're obviously a lot worse. We're obviously a lot worse and he's the chief. Like you can say we might be able to get through these games and win a couple, and then people say, "See, didn't even miss him." Sure, that's fine. There's going to be a few people that are waiting for this to happen. Listen, I want us to win. I don't care if it's with or without. But like this notion that like he's injured, so like don't worry, everything's going to be fine because he's not that big of a miss because he's not good. It's foolish.
Yeah, this was the weird thing yesterday with it, wasn't it? I think people that it's almost like the Ruben thing. People that don't like Bruno were like really desperately trying to cling on yesterday to like that we were somehow better without him and we will be better without him, and like because Leacher did all right when he came on, it was like, see, we don't need Bruno, and you go like they're separate things, you know what I mean? Like even if you like Bruno Fernandes, you don't like him, you think Man United will in the future be better without him or whatever. At this stage of the season, particularly when the numbers do speak for themselves. Like, of course, if he's out for a month, we're going to be worse off because we're going to, you know what I mean? In addition to those players from AFCON not being there, like our most influential players and the players that do put numbers on the board, the majority of them are missing at the moment. We are going to be worse. You know what I mean? With Bruno not in the team. Long term, if you replace him with a different profile of player, but a top quality player, Man United might be better for that. But right now, when we don't have the replacements, of course, we're going to be worse without Bruno. And Amanor says here, Owen, you're being naive, but believing the club/manager doesn't lie. First of all, Amanor, I never said the club and the manager doesn't lie. I'm on record of saying that press conferences are bullshit, yeah? And press conferences are a load of bollocks. And managers and clubs absolutely do lie. But in the same time, just because players and managers and the club does lie, that doesn't mean everything is a lie as well. It's not black and white. I think in this instance, I'm of the mindset that I think the Cobby thing is legitimate. and I think he'll probably play again before the end of the year. I think he'll probably be back for that. If he's back for that Wolves game on the 30th, and Bruno.
So he's only supposed to be out for a week then.
A week.
That's what because he did say he was going to miss some weeks. I don't know, which sounded quite bad. It's the very next. I think Ruben. Because people are saying that they've learned you can't just ostracize players and stuff. But I think the way Ruben handled it in the presser, I know there's a thing of like preservation of like we might have learned
because that's the pushback. That's the pushback, isn't it?
He handled it so strongly in the presser.
The pushback is that they're doing it this way because the Rashford and Garnacho situation made it difficult for us to move them on and blah blah blah. So this time around they're doing that, and I think I saw Howson did the screen grab or something like last year around this time. They said Rashford was ill, and it was like, oh, is he actually ill? And the feeling is just it's very coincidental, but
it is. I'll be honest, we just need that Wolves. We just need a game to happen because it is a bit. I'm not gonna lie, it does.
It's terrible luck. It's terrible luck, isn't it? You know what I mean? If that is the case, but also let's not pretend Cobby doesn't get injured. Cobby's been injured a bunch of times.
Yeah, that's true.
That's entirely possible too. So
I just
think Ruben. I'm just not sure if Ruben would go along with that. You know what I mean? I just think
he's not really a man who buckles on his principles.
No,
but he has been more aware recently of talking about how he needs to behave and this, that, and the other. And, you know, if he has a sit down with the hierarchy who says, listen, in the future, this is how we're going to deal with players who want out or we're planning to get rid of. Because there does need to be a bit of a change. You can't just put everybody bomb squad. You can't have consistent bomb squad. Nobody else does it, bro. Nobody else does that. Now, I get it.
Wow.
We have very rare, not as much as we do.
Chelsea,
but all right,
but that's
that's an anomaly because they've got 50 million players. They can't.
Yeah, but we can't say that no one does it. You know what I mean?
But their bomb squad is like that's different to ours because we've just got people who keep disrespecting the establishment. They just treat the players like shit. We've got problems with actual conduct. Like Axel Disasi hasn't done anything wrong. They just don't want him anymore, so they're just fucking him off. We have problems with players who talk out of turn. The relationship breaks down, and then we want to get rid of them. But then we publicly just whatever. No, you want to leave. You can leave in the summer. Rot until then, or rot until thing. So like the Chelsea one's a bit different. That's in terms of the people that have got players that are doing all right, and then all of a sudden they're just not. So I just think that we do have to do things differently. But I just feel that this one we might be all right. We might be all right with this one, but it is fishy. It is.
Yeah,
it feels a bit off because of how coincidental it actually is. Like Jesus, that is so unlucky, so coincidental. Yeah. But is it? Is it? Do you know what I mean?
Well,
I don't know.
It was one of those ones. Yesterday, as soon as it came out, and they were like, "He's injured." I just thought my initial reaction straight away on the stream was, "There's going to be people that don't believe this." You know, there's not going to be people that believe that is the case.
I do get why they might, though. I
totally get it.
I can't put my hand on my heart and say 1,000,000,000%.
Oh no, I can't say that as well. But that's what I said about the whole T-shirt thing in the first place. Is you can't say either way, can you? That he definitely didn't know, or he definitely did know. We'll never know in this situation, right? I just feel like the way it was handled this week, and because, like, you know, imagine Cobby or someone comes out and it's like a picture of Cobby sprinting around and all this kind of stuff. You know, I was almost half waiting for that yesterday. You know what I mean? The pushback of like, a post going around of him doing whatever. But I'm just feeling of like, actually, you know, I feel like this one is probably legitimate. And because I can see Cobby getting injured, he has got injured before. He does have a lot of injury problems. Yeah, you know, he does. A couple more super chats here. Edmund says Mount injury incoming.
Why would you say that? And that's where you say the thing of.
I was going to
say that flex.
Yeah, he's been doing good. He's been doing good. Tabra has been a member for 20 months. Says frustrating yesterday. With all things considered, the performance wasn't bad, but we're falling behind the pack yet again at Christmas time. The next two games are certainly very key, I think, when it comes to that. Although the league is still very, very still tight,
man.
And big up to Jamie. He's one of my biggest haters. He's always on my channel as well, but he is a member, and he's gifted 5 memberships as well.
That's the thing. Jamie.
As I always bring up this story.
Is he really a hater?
Yes, but that's the character. He had I had a stream on my channel before, and I do these like, oh, this is what's going to happen at the event coming up, and he was like, you always get it wrong, and I went, do you want to bet? And he was like, yeah. He said, I'll give you £100 for everyone you got right, and I got like 3 right, and he put 300 quid in for super chat.
Really?
Like,
yeah,
at
least he's a man of his words. Shit,
proper,
Jamie's not messing about.
No.
Fair play. A man of his words. You can't argue with that. You can't. At least he's consistent.
Talk shit, but also backs it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm all for that. Yeah, and I think he's a Sunderland fan. So he just
that's so random.
Yeah.
Pick up Jamie. What a guy. What a guy. I didn't know this. At all. Court Star, there you go. He's got a membership there off Jamie. So big up to you. Like Steffi Jane says, there, man of his words. Okay, so Bruno and the Cobby decision. Joshua Zirkzee. Apparently has agreed personal terms with Roma.
Yeah, or is very close to, certainly advancing. Fabrizio Romano saying last night that Roma are advancing in talks with Joshua Zirkzee on personal terms as a top target for January. The deal still depends on Manchester United's decision, as Roma want Zirkzee as soon as possible, but United have several players out for injury / AFCON. So there is this decision now of, okay, do we let him go? Should we let him go? Would this be the right thing to do? But also, this could fund some January movement. I think we can afford Semenyo regardless of if Zirkzee goes. I don't think the Semenyo one is hinging on Joshua Zirkzee leaving, but that could be one where if he does go, then you've got a little bit of extra money. Maybe that goes to getting a midfielder. Maybe that goes to bringing in someone in a critical position. But at a time which we've got so many people missing, do you then want to remove another attacking player? Would you have to replace him like for like? Do you take that risk?
Well, here's the thing, right? Here's the thing of where I think the club need to put to the test what Ruben is saying of we have a plan and we're not going to panic. And that can be 2 ways. So we have a plan and we're not going to panic can be we've got all these players out. We're not going to just try and buy everyone because people are missing. And then I like what he said. And then we go, oh, here we go again. What have we done? Right? But at the same time, we have a plan could also mean the plan always was to probably let Josh go, bring in an attacker. Like just because those guys are injured, we're not going to not carry on with the plan. Do you get it? Or just because we're missing those guys for a maximum length of whatever the time is if they both got to the final. But there's 3 different nations, so they can't all get to the final. Yeah. So, but like, there's a maximum time of they're like, well, AFCON finishes by this day, 3rd place playoff or all of that. Everything finishes by like, is it January? Is it mid-Jan?
Yeah, it's not like a huge amount of time. You know what I mean? It's not.
When's the last game of AFCON? Final plus 3rd place?
The final is on the 18th of Jan.
Right. So
it's not. It's a couple of weeks.
And one of them's a FA Cup game as well, where we don't play in the Prem.
Yeah. It's a couple of weeks, and some of these players come straight back in the side. It's not as if they're missing fitness, is it?
No. They've been training. They've been playing. It's fine. They'll come straight back in. So you go. Those 3 don't like try and sign players because they're missing for 4 games. That's foolish. That's dumb. Yeah. That is silly. Don't sell Zirkzee because of it, and don't keep Zirkzee because of it. Whatever your plan is for Zirkzee, stick to the plan of Zirkzee, regardless of what's going on with AFCON. If you're looking at the injuries we've got, where we've got 2 centre-backs out, doesn't really mean anything with Zirkzee and the players. That doesn't. Just got to wait. You got Heaven's playing. Your Mazraoui's going to be back soon. Like you just got to get through. You just got to get through with that. And then the Semenyo thing. That's where, again, your plan has to match your finances versus your intent. If you can't afford him and you think the right thing to do is that you was always looking to raise funds during this window because you earmarked selling Zirkzee and that was the plan, well, then that's the plan then. Because really what we're seeing, you might say, well, but look at Sesko. He's hardly tearing up trees. Don't look like he's actually that ready. But clearly, like I've said before, the managers don't rate Zirkzee. Hence why, as soon as Cunha got back fit, he play him up front over him. So he could be thinking, I get Semenyo in there. I'm happy that if Sesko's not really doing it up front, I'll put Cunha up there. Means I can free up a space for Semenyo because he's adaptable. Basically, Zirkzee for Semenyo, the manager is going to be happy. Because if he has to play him up front, and Cunha moves up 1 because Sesko's struggling a bit, and you put in Semenyo in that front line. He's not mad at that. He's not mad at playing him left wing back. So I just think if you got a plan, do what you said you're going to do in the presser. Stick to it. I'm happy with either. I don't mind.
I think that the reason I don't think the Zirkzee one is related to the Semenyo one is just because the Semenyo release clause is like got to be done by the 10th of January. And if you're like, we need to raise funds to get this deal through, I'm like, well, then you're going to have to move pretty quick. Like both deals are going to have to be done fairly fast. Aren't they?
But then they might
unless it's one of those
that
ones where you're like,
they said no,
you can do the deal. You can do the deal just as long as the Semenyo deal, as long as you do the Zirkzee deal at some point from an accounting perspective. Then it could be that. It could be that maybe.
As long as you sanction that Zirkzee deal at some point.
At some point. Yeah, then you'll be okay. Maybe that's what it will be. But I also don't blame Zirkzee for going to Roma because the future is very limited for him at United, isn't it? He's on the bench, as you said. I think it's quite obvious about the manager's perspective of him about where he fits into the team. And if everyone's available, obviously you could say, well, next year and you're playing more games, but I think next year more players are going to be brought in and he might actually fall a bit further down the pecking order, to be honest. So if United, remember, we didn't pay a huge amount of money for Zirkzee, so hopefully we can maybe make a bit of a profit on him as well. What was it? Just around like 37 million, something like that. Would we get that for him to go to Roma? Would we get what? Could you get like north of 40 for Joshua Zirkzee? Do you reckon?
Not north of 40. No, I don't think you get.
Reckon it'd be close to what we paid.
Yeah, I think you'd probably get about 35 all in, maybe.
Yeah,
I'd like to think 35 plus add-ons, but
he'll have a book value of less than obviously than what we paid because obviously he's a year into his contract at this point. So I think we'd probably just make a profit on him. Probably
I'd say just, or at the very most, maybe make.
I don't think we'll take a loss. I don't think.
No. And if we do take a loss, it'd be a few million. Maybe he goes for 34 million.
I don't think it would be that. So I could see it, and then if that does happen, it'll be interesting to see what the expectation is then of the January window. Because like I said, I don't think the Semenyo one's related, but it might be one where they just go, look, no, that is the 1 in, 1 out. The 1 in, 1 out they're not related to each other in that sense, but it is 1 in, 1 out. That's what it's going to be. But I wouldn't blame him, and we'll see. I think he'll end up going, to be honest. I think he's.
It does feel a little bit like it, but remember, I don't know why we think that because it's not like anyone wants to get rid of him or anything. They want him to leave. There's a lot of trust there in him. There's a lot of it's just fine. It's just it just proves that it's not like he wants him to leave or anything. It's just rather trust the other players instead. But I'm genuinely asking this to the chat because I don't know this.
Those that do know, is KG a believer in the Cobby injury or not? Just out of curiosity.
I don't think he'll believe that.
Because if he says that's not true and the manager is lying, he did ring up like a week ago saying that because the manager said he rated Cobby that was true. So
yeah, it hasn't been a phone call yet.
Picking and choosing. When I
don't know, but sometimes he likes to stay the consistent side, so he might just go, no. This is just unlucky.
Unlucky. We're getting mixed messages. He believes he's injured. Yeah, okay. KG believes the injury. Okay,
right.
He does
first.
Okay,
first.
Yeah. There you go.
There you go. But look, I do think. Do
you know what? I don't
make sense because actually, people are saying. Sorry,
I don't believe.
Go on.
But this is really important. Very important. I don't believe, that we've got 900 people watching us. We've only got 163 likes.
Yeah, that is a disgrace. That's a disgrace. And that's partly on us because we haven't reminded them as well. But that is a disgrace.
It's scandalous.
Yeah.
It's scandalous.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
That's Let's smash like immediately. Really.
Yeah. I don't know what to say.
Because that's quite bad. That's quite bad.
Yeah.
Let me take a check. Is it flying up now? Are we doing better than this? 179. Let's go, people. You know what I mean? Yeah. Let's get to 250 likes, please. And we're accepting accountability, the A word. We're accepting accountability in terms of, there you go, 193. We're accepting accountability of not reminding you guys consistently enough. We'll take that. But can we please get to 250?
I feel like Flex, you know, the way we set up the stream today, we've done a 500 like stream. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Players aren't.
You've coached a 500 like stream.
We've coached a 500 like stream, and things are out of control. You know what I mean? We're missing sitters. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. What more do you want us to do? Like,
exactly.
Go and press the like button for you.
You know what I mean?
We can't do
exactly.
it. You've got to do it.
I can't do that. You know what I mean?
It's not on us. It's not on us. I like that. Just before we move on to the Semenyo transfer decision, some people were saying in the chat, and we have to discuss this: has Sesko actually been an upgrade on Zirkzee? And there you go. How do we assess Sesko?
I don't know. I think this was the thing yesterday as well, wasn't it? It became a bit of Hjlund revisionism, wasn't it? Of like,
has he even been an upgrade on Hjlund? People saying, yeah.
Rasmus Hjlund, blah blah blah. I still say it's too early to say for Sesko. The reason I say that is because initial signs.
What do you see? What do you see from the early stages of out for 4 or 5 weeks? Plus the slow start to get ready, then a little middle period where he did all right, and then obviously we've seen like what do you see when you see Zirkzee? Sesko.
With Sesko,
what does Owen see?
A very raw player. I'm not sure for how tall is he again? 6'4". 6'4".
6'5", I think.
6'5".
He's massive. Yeah.
There is this kind of a bit of a misconception that he's a bit of a target man, and I'm not sure if he is. You know what I mean? Like. Because I think people think he's a bit like, you know, like you see Voltemada and he's like, was he 6'6", you know, and he's target man, but also really good with his feet. But
very tight.
Target man wins the headers back. I don't know if Sesko's that. I think he has got good hold up play. I'd almost like him to be maybe a little bit like a bit bigger than he actually is in terms of physically. Like at points, sometimes I feel like he's a bit too slight, but I still do think it's early and there isn't a big enough sample size yet because he's had those injuries and because he obviously had the start to the season where he wasn't play. I mean, he didn't start for, was it 4 or 5 games or something like that?
Yeah.
But I do want to see a bit more again, a bit more aggression and a bit more, again, getting at defenders. But at the same time, I'm not going to do the revisionism of Rasmus Hjlund because, you know, this is the same Hjlund that was getting cussed out last season because he couldn't hold up the ball, he couldn't do anything, and now suddenly Hjlund, it's like, oh no, actually Hjlund's really, really good. I mean, someone said it in the chat that but Hjlund was getting criticized, so we can criticize Sesko, and it's like, well, Rasmus Hjlund had 2 seasons at Manchester United. I mean, for better or for worse, it's the 2-season rule, isn't it? You got to give him time. You're gonna have to give him time, and he's gonna have to have a run in the team. Early signs, I won't say that aren't positive because he had a little bit of a burst of scoring a couple of goals, but so did Rasmus Hjlund. People forget with Hjlund that first season, whilst he obviously had the great Champions League run, he didn't score his first goal till Boxing Day in the Premier League, did he? I remember it. It was against Aston Villa on Boxing Day at Old Trafford. It took him a while, and even fucking now there was remember the kid, the blonde kid that everyone was saying was Rasmus Hjlund, and he had the miracle was coming. I mean, that was that Rasmus Hjlund's dryness in front of goal caused that guy to have a good song. You know what I mean? So I still say it's too early to say. And we'll see. It's early stages, and I'm not sure. The problem is now with the more creative players missing, it might not help him at all. But I think in terms of the Prem, I think he needs to up his physicality. I think he's a bit too soft at the moment.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with everything you're saying. I think he's a lot more raw than I thought. I thought he was a lot more ready than this. When you spend a lot of money comes expectation, right? We can't always just take the expectation away all the time just because they're young. But we do have to have an air of patience. But I just think whilst we have that patience...
Like Gyökeres is struggling. He's way more experienced than Sesko.
Yeah. And he's coming out of that league in Portugal where he's taking the piss out of it. That just shows the disparity between them 2 leagues for sure.
Yeah.
But you can't... But at the same time, you have to have that patience with the youngsters. But whilst we're having that patience, I think it's helpful to at least discuss the players properly. Like, don't gas him up saying that he's really... Don't lie, though. Don't be like, listen, man, I'm telling you, man, he's been fucking brilliant. He's just not scored. Like, no, he's been raw. Like he's getting into positions, which is a good thing. Now, when you come on against Spurs, his movement like gets him into positions where he gets the chance. And when you're developing and you speak to coaches or ex-strikers who played the game, they say that's a much better position to be in than being anonymous. Being going, where is he? How did he? Oh, he just wasn't as sharp as that. Took a baggy touch. Oh, maybe he could have scored against Martinez. Oh, he messed up his touch twice against Spurs. He was in. That is something that with the confidence and with time, you can fix. If he was just hardly getting any runs, hardly ever seeing the ball, it's a big. I'm not saying it's impossible because you can fix anything, but that's an even bigger problem to have. So yeah, I just see a raw player who probably hasn't even mastered using his body effectively in this league anyway. Because
not really sure
he's got to be
what kind of striker he is
for how big
he
is.
Yeah, you're kind of struggling to figure it out. But I also think, and this is what kind of brings it into the Yoro situation too, of like, we can't be so quick, in my opinion, just to be like, players struggle a little bit, or they'll, struggle to adapt initially, or they'll go through a difficult patch. And it's like, we turn on them so fast. I mean, like Leny Yoro yesterday, look, he had a stinker. He's been having a stinker for the last few games, and he was at fault for both of those goals. But Leny Yoro's still only 20, and there's still a player there. You know what I mean? It does not mean that we got messed around. Real Madrid fooled us, or Leny Yoro fooled us. He's not this, he's not that. Should he come out the team? If we had more defenders, I think he probably would be out the team. There's also, you can see now, there's a reason Ruben Amorim wasn't starting him in games recently. Now he's kind of forced to. There's a player there, but like you said, I think we have to be able to be honest about these players, how they're doing.
That's the truth there. Be honest with the assessment.
But without it being a career ender at Man United for them. You know what I mean? You can say, like, Leny Yoro at the moment is not playing.
Not that guy right now. Not that guy.
Yeah, the team. Or Benjamin Sesko going, look, he's 22, maybe more raw than I thought. Some games he's good. Some games he just completely disappears. That doesn't mean it's not going to work out for him. That doesn't mean like, I'm saying he's shit and I'm saying he's this, he's that. Because there are also players that are coming into a very inconsistent team, and they're going to be inconsistent because they're young. So it's not the best environment to succeed, is it? No. They're going to be up and down.
Have to learn. And we have to learn of this as a club, right? You talk about the plan. So, when I was like the ruthlessness of like, not saying that these players we're talking about need to leave, by the way, but like the ruthlessness of moving players on, and then the ruthlessness of how to recruit. Like, you have to. So, like, someone said it before the other day, and it was such a good point, and I agreed with it even before that, because I was also looking at this player going, look at that, he's done well. Look at Malik Thiaw, right, from AC Milan. Like, to my knowledge, I don't think he was starting for AC Milan week in, week out. Scholars, let me know if you watch Serie A. Okay, I don't think he was, right? But whether he was or he wasn't, they've gone and got him for like, didn't they get him for like 24 million? Something like that? Or was it 30? What was Malik Thiaw's price? What was it?
I'm just looking now. Transfer fee. It was 35 plus 5.
Euros.
Pounds.
There you go. 35 plus 5. All right, so 40 million. 10 million less all in than Leny Yoro. And he's what, 24? Is he 24? 23, 24?
Let's have a look. He is 24. So he's 4 years older than Leny Yoro.
So he's 4 years, but for that type of money, that's not really an old centre back. He's still coming into his prime. Yeah, it shows that you need a sprinkle of both now. So next time we go to recruit, we've bought a Leny Yoro, we've bought an Aiden Heaven, which actually you look at Aiden Heaven for 1 point something million out of Arsenal's academy, not playing.
And you already get value for money there, aren't you?
We're already getting value for money, which is good. We needed signings like that where you can depend on him. Well, I say depend is he's still in that bit where he's earning the consistency. To be able to say you can depend on him, it's probably too big a word because he's still young, still learning his trade. But you're not like, it's not a monstrosity when you see his name on the team sheet. You go, he's playing well, he's in a good mode, he's in good mood. He's got to go up against Voltemado. He's just kept, Watkins quiet. So I suppose you probably could say, to be fair to him, you could depend on him for Newcastle United. Different type of game, different type of striker against Voltemado. We'll see. But you're getting value for money. But also, you can't underestimate that you need to go and buy like the next wave now of the strong ones. Yeah, we did it with De Ligt, and now I'm saying we bought 2 young ones. So now I'm saying the next batch needs to be like not really the bedding in, like they're ready to go now, like they're strong, they're physical, they're dominant, they're powerful now. Like Then you add that to the Leny Yoro and
even that though,
thing.
there's no guarantee. Like I said, use the example earlier on with Victor Gyökeres at Arsenal. This is a guy that's prime, ready to go, and they're giving him penalties when they got Saka and Odegaard on the pitch just to try and get him going. Because and that's in a very, a team that's top of the league and doing well and might win the title this season. So you then compare it to a team that's very inconsistent, a club that's got so much scrutiny on them. As I've said, that we're so quick to turn on players, particularly young players of 6 months in, they're washed, they're this, they're rubbish. You've got to give them at least a season or two. Yeah, you've got to. And Leny Yoro, my goodness me. We signed him when he's 19. He's 20 now. This is really what his first proper rough patch of form. He had a tough game last season, but he bounced back very quickly. But this is the first time that I can record that we're talking 3 or 4 games in a row that we're going, whoa, Lenny's struggling. He'll bounce back. Bounce back from it. It's not over. In an ideal world, he'd come out the team right now, but we don't really have the options to take him out the team. And actually yesterday, as Steffi mentions there in the chat, aside from Morgan Rogers, the rest of the attacking lineup, we kept them very quiet, actually. Aidan Heaven did a number on Ollie Watkins.
Yeah, he did.
Well, Watkins
played well yesterday.
Barely get any change out of him. I thought Luke Shaw on the left, he did well. So, yeah, Lenny's struggling at the moment. He should come out. Benjamin Sesko, he's been in and out through injury, and he's certainly, we've seen he's not the complete article, but I don't know. There's just something in me. I'm a bit weary of sort of that early on in a young player's career just to go that much in on them. You know what I mean? You can say they're not playing well without them being a total flop. Or,
it doesn't mean that. You just be honest in your assessment and don't go overboard. Which, listen, talking about players on the internet, that doesn't normally happen on X. But I do think you need a little bit of calmness. All right, where are we at with likes? We are at 252. Let's push to 300, guys. We're nearly 1,000 people watching, so let's push to 300. If you've just tuned in towards the end of the show, you're thinking, what's going on here? Smash a like on the way in, and make sure you subscribe to the channel as well if you haven't done so already, peeps. All right, Semenyo, because this is hotting up now. There's been a lot of people claiming a lot of stuff now.
This is, for all of these, there's no chance he'll come to Manchester United. Why would he be interested? Well, it looks like at the moment it's a bit of a 2-horse race. So Antoine Semenyo, according to Fabrizio Romano, is to decide his future soon. Manchester United and Manchester City are indeed pushing for him. Liverpool called in November. No follow-up so far. Liverpool could be active, of course, particularly after Alexander Isak suffered a broken leg. So they might be in the market to bring people in, spend some more money. Spurs are not advancing for Semenyo. We'll talk about that in just a second. Of course, Semenyo's got that £65 million release clause, but critically expires on January 10th. So it has to be done early. And it is a case of, like Fabrizio was saying, City and United have both basically been ringing up or talking to Bournemouth, getting more understanding of what this release clause actually looks like both clubs are in active talks to sign him. David Ornstein said this on NBC yesterday. He said, everything I've learned suggests that a transfer is highly possible, and the names that are emerging as the leading contenders are Manchester City and Manchester United in no particular order. They're both extremely fond of him. Liverpool is said to have great admiration for him. They've not moved to the same extent so far. Let's see if anything changes due to the Isak injury. As we broke the news that Liverpool fear it's a significant injury to his lower leg. Tottenham were keen, and they were prepared to pay a significant salary to Semenyo, but he is politely focusing on other options, namely City or United, and he will have to make a decision around that. So he politely said thanks, but no thanks.
Spurs just straight away.
And that's what I was saying the other day. People, you were saying oh, he could go to Spurs. I was like, he's not going to go to Spurs. Arsenal looked at that the situation, but more towards the summer, and I don't think that he's willing to wait until the summer. So it does look like that as of now, Flex, it's between United and City. That's the decision that he's going to make. Now, obviously, people go out. There's no decision there. It's Manchester City, isn't it? But football's a funny game. Sometimes players don't make choices that would seem logical on paper because you go to City and you might win a Premier League title. But he might fancy the allure of playing for Manchester United. Manchester United might be able to sell him on the project better, like the reports were saying. They might play on the fact of, Pep might be going in the summer and there's a bit of uncertainty there, which is kind of hilarious because there's no club that's more uncertain than Manchester United, it feels like. But you never know. You never know. We're going, as the report said the other day, all out. And it was pointed out by Simon Stone, actually, over the weekend as well, that this idea once again of to play left wing back that actually Man United are prepared to move things around. They might not view him as a left
Maybe
wing
we're
back.
going to a 4-3-3 if we get him and you put him on the left wing. Maybe we are.
Exactly.
And yeah, and then like I said, with Zirkzee gone and you don't really trust Sesko with Cunha up front. Yeah, I mean, maybe, and then there's just competition for places. Maybe one of Amada and Bruno are on the bench because we've got right wingers.
Maybe you might look at it as actually, like at City, I actually might not get as much game time as I would get at United. United, I might be playing, every week. City,
well,
they got players
City right now. They're starting Doku and Shirky in the wide areas. And listen, last time I checked, Shirky's starting to activate. Doku's having a really good season. Now, listen, you go to big clubs, i.e., stepping out of Bournemouth's, environment. No disrespect to them, but you step into the big clubs, he has to expect competition. You don't get a divine right to play at any club, but obviously at Bournemouth is everything around him. 90 minutes every game, no problem. But going to, Man United is still competition for places. Like if you want to play in them 10 positions, you have to be better than Cunha, you have to be better than Ahmad at times, you have to be better than Mason Mount, you have to be better than Mbeumo. And at wing back, you would probably say to him, there is a lot less competition. You could probably have that until, and obviously make sure you do all right, but it's yours. So look, I don't know. It's we'll see in it. We'll see what he chooses. Clearly we want him. And I just don't, my only pushback against this whole Semenyo situation has been people just saying, we don't need him. Why are we doing it? We need midfielders. Where's he going to play? And then obviously like neutrals have already said to me, oh, this is just a problem. You just don't learn. Again, because neutrals don't really, I get it. It's just frustrating because it's not their job to know what's really good. But they just think of like, typical Man United, get something you don't need. You're going to get one of the best left wings in the league, play him left wing. So stupid. He's never going to do that and this, that, and the other. And he might still choose City. Marmoush as well. I forgot about him. He can play across the front. He might still choose City because they're better than us and everything, cool. But like this notion that like it's stupid for Man United to get a player of the quality of Semenyo. Mate, even if it's in the 3-4-3, you're trying to tell me that a left-hand side of Semenyo going up and down and Cunha linking up, and then on the other side, Ahmad and Mbeumo, you're trying to tell me that that's not better, that's not good, that's not improving our team.
And also as well, like, again, he might not be always playing left wing back. He might be left 10. He might be playing up front.
Once he gets more players that he wants, he could actually switch things up. You don't
exactly. Know. So that is such for me. It's an overly simplistic. Like, he's playing 65 million on a wing back, and even if that was the case, because
we need it.
We need good wing backs. Like last night, Patrick Dorgu, ironically enough, had one of his better games for United, but clearly ain't the guy. You know what I mean? He's 20, is not the guy. We need more quality there. So you get good players in the team. I wasn't really aware of his background, but you want to talk about someone that would be the expectation for him would be to make an immediate impact. 25 years old. He's actually going to be 26 in Jan. His whole career has been in England. He's come through like youth, like Bristol City. Then he's gone out on loan to Bath, Newport County, Sunderland. You know what I mean? And then obviously been at Bournemouth for a couple of years and done really well there. So I think with him as well, I think he would be in that similar category to your Brian Mbeumo's and your Mateus Cunha of Premier League proven, expectation to hit the ground running, he's not as young as maybe people think he is as well. He's in that vein, I think, of Mbeumo and Cunha of like, right, you're coming in and the expectation is that you're ready to go now. And you've got the versatility to play left wing back, but also left 10, right 10, right wing back as the 9. Call me crazy, but bringing in top quality players that are Premier League proven, ready made. I think that makes us better, doesn't it? It's not really a stretch, and he's available. Yeah. And he's available.
More of that. He's available and wants to leave. And as it stands, he's clearly given us consideration. There's 2 teams that are in for him, us and Man City. Doesn't mean he's going to pick us, but it's not like he's already politely declined Spurs. So he hasn't just put us off the table because he's thinking, actually, what does that look like for me? So let's leave the guy to make his decision. Hopefully he chooses us. If he doesn't, you take the L, you move on. Maybe we might have something else up our sleeve if we were willing to spend 65 odd million quid on him. But in January, but then it comes to who's available. So, you know, that type of money, again, the plan, just because you miss out on Semenyo, don't try and just spend 65 million on another guy who probably wasn't the plan. You're not really sure what it is. And like the wrap up Heaven says, just build a good squad. That's it. Just build a good squad. We're showing, all you can do is go after people and show intent. And we're obviously still at the door because there's interest and he hasn't rubbished us like Spurs. So we're trying to get him. We tried to get him in the summer, you know, and then it didn't work for whatever reason. Then we moved on to Mbeumo, you know, and that's worked out fine. And maybe the plan is to have all these types of players. And when we start saying about building a good squad, like Wrap Up Heaven says, what we don't want is this, like, when we start playing badly or people having bad games, or we go, yeah, but we just got to leave him on, man, because who have we really got? Dorgu's going to have to come on, or Dallow's not playing well. Like, we want good players, bro. We want good players. And
and
he's not the best as well, by the way. He's not like a world. No. He's not like he gets like double figures goals and assists every year and stuff. I don't even think his outputs is like that high. I just think he'd just be a good player to have in your squad, instrumental in what we're trying to do. And he's adaptable and can fit.
Yeah. Well, and look at the stats. Daniel Luciano's bringing them in. Semenyo ranks in the 99th percentile for blocks per 90 across Europe's top 5 leagues. He also says there, what's that, Pasha? I'm complaining, honestly. Says he's in the 97th percentile for aerials 1 per 90 minutes as well. So he can do defensive work too, you know, can do that as well.
Well, there you go. Like, I test, guys. I test. Like, if you look at him, you know that will be like that. So, yeah. Oh, shit. I just realized the time. Right.
Should we sign Semenyo, Asher? Should we sign him? Yes, that's a yes.
Just yeah. When Sesko took the ball away from Mbeumo in the Bournemouth game, I was convinced. All right, people, big up to, is that another 5 or is that the same? No, it's not the same. Right, big up to each and every single one of you. Have a good Monday. Enjoy yourselves. Do well. Be well. And hopefully there's no more added injuries that we don't know about or anything worse after scans and stuff like that, because we just don't need it. Hopefully it is 1 week. And let's look forward to this Newcastle United game, which will be a very difficult game. Red carpet later on this evening, guys. We'll see you then. Take care. Peace.